COVID, what happened to all of us. So that time I had enough time to say, okay, this is maybe the right time to start writing. Then I started writing. So how I was writing, I would switch on my YouTube channel, and then I'll go live, and then I'm on my computer typing. I did that for maybe just a few months because, you know, dreams were so easy to get during the COVID time, but also easy to let them go. So I was typing, and then I lost the file.
Oh.
And then that was 2020, because that's when the really COVID hit. And after that, 2021 came, and 2022 came, and then I lost the file. So then I started writing last year.
Oh.
I started writing last year because then I was just like, okay, Rose, you said you're going to write the book. Where is the book now? In the process, I lost the file, and then I started off. So I can really say that the new draft that I started was around July. And July the 17th to be exact, because that day I was on a train going to Guilin, and it was like a seven-hour train trip, and I was like, okay, this is now the time that I really need to start the book. And one of my friends who was from Iran, she was sitting close to me, I'm like, yeah girl, I started writing my book. So I went in the Microsoft document and just wrote down the content line, what is the chapter going to be, and then that's when I had my skeleton, and that's when I started. So it's over a year. Yes, it's a period of a year.
She is powerful. She is indeed powerful. Yes, you are powerful. Now, you know, most of the time when we write stories or when we come across some books or some novels, the thing that will come to us is this even real? Or this just, you know, some made-up story, you know, to make people enjoy? Now, I'm going to ask you, is the book truth in all or in part?
The book is truth in all, and as I say, it's a Namibian story. In this book, you will even be appetized to visit Namibia, for sure, because I spoke about the contrast beauty that we have in Namibia, with a beautiful Atlantic Ocean that is very close to the Nami Desert. And that's one of the very famous tourist attractions in the world. A lot of people are traveling to Namibia to see that. So today, I'm just here to help you, in case you don't know where to go next. Namibia is the place. So all of it is a story either of my own story or my people's story. And my people's story, I mean, is everyone mentioned that a community, not everyone, specific people who have introduced earlier, they mentioned that Africans are raised by a community. So the story is about the community that raised me. From my parents going to my community in Oshikuku. There's a small village called Oshikuku. And that's where I grew up. And because of my loud voice, I had a lot of attraction when I was young. So everyone would be like, oh, that child is so noisy, and she's so, oh my God. And she speaks English. And English that time was a very luxurious thing, you know. I mean, like, that's why I'm still trying to be able to speak British English right now. But anyways, so it's a story about community that raised me, my parents, the community in Oshikuku, when I went to high school, my primary school before high school, and even after high school, going into the city. And I've also spoken really clearly about my grandparents as well, because those are all people who have been part of my journey. And so I would sum up to say all of it is true. Yeah, some were mostly in my mind because our mind has a way of giving us a different world. I know all of us know. Some days we tell ourselves that we are powerful. Some other days we wake up like feeling like, today I'm definitely shitty, you know what I mean? I'm sorry for the bad words because they're my elders here. But yes, so part of it is my imagination, right? But all of it is because of where I came from. Because where we come from is what really makes us. Yes, thank you.
Well, now, I want to come to a point where I ask you, you have all the thoughts, you are writing and everything. Did you come to a point where you say, well, I don't think I'm going to make it. I mean, I might even quit.
Right. Definitely quitting was not part of the plan, because I know how hard it is to be a content creator, right? I also know how hard it is for now for us to going into like getting money, all that type of thing. So my plan was really to say, I'm gonna write a book and definitely I'll be a millionaire, but it's not that easy. However, the motivation was there from onset, and also to know that when we put plans, when we have ideas in our mind and we write it down and we say, now it's my time to do something, we should commit to it, because you're also proving to yourself that you're able to do something, right? Commitment to a plan or commitment to a goal does not come easy. There are some days when you wake up feeling like you don't want to write. And there has been a time like that, because I was really anticipating for the book to come out even earlier. My birthday was on the 24th of April. And I was like, okay, well, 24th of April, I'm celebrating my 30th. You know, being 30 is not so easy. You're not married. And so maybe a book will be a good, But anyways, it didn't happen like that. And so there were also some days when I was telling myself that, would people really understand what is the story about? And those times I was definitely in my insecurities mindset and maybe let me just give up the book. However, still God has been amazing, because the voice is still in your head like, continue writing. Yes. So that has been the journey of writing.
Wow. What can I say? What can I say? This is just all powerful all round. Now, we are talking about Namibia, and you spoke about, when I was reading the book on chapter 9, I came across community of Oshikuku. And I was like, well, I grew up in a village myself, that I've got fond memories of my village, as a little girl, playing in mud, walking without shoes. And when I came across to chapter 9, when we were talking about the community of Oshikuku, I said, well, girl, tell us, what is it so special about the community of Oshikuku?
In the community of Oshikuku, just like anywhere else in Africa, we have adults who will beat you up if you make a mistake. Definitely. And I had those parents, aunties and uncles, who were just part of the community. But because of, I'm a naughty child, so by nature it was an obvious fact that aunties and uncles in Oshikuku would be like, Lineka, what are you doing here? Why are you not at home? Or Lineka, why are you so looking dusty? And so there were aunties and uncles who pushed me to be a better version. And also, Oshikuku was a new town, or just a village town that time when you grew up. So there was a lot of hope, and everyone was looking forward to the growth of the town becoming something. Therefore, I could see that the hopefulness of the community pushed the children in Oshikuku to be something. Because a lot of Oshikuku children today definitely are doctors, lawyers, urban planners. And so I can really see that our aunties and uncles were there, always pushing us. And I'm sure a lot of people who come across maybe this content of us talking about the Oshikuku community, it really takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
And that's what I got from Oshikuku community.
Wow.
Yes.
And I'm sure maybe in Oshikuku is where we met Granny, right? No.
Granny?
Yeah, Granny. Because when I was reading your book, I realized that you were so much in love. You're fond of your Granny. I'm like, well, I remember my grandmother as well when she used to go and fetch water, and I'm coming from the city. I'm a little girl. I'm like, what? They said, okay, we're going to train you to be a housewife, a proper housewife. You need to know how to carry maybe a bucket of water on your head and some firewood. So I also have those fond memories of my grandmother, but at times I thought she was too harsh. Now, when I was reading your book, I came across a situation where you're talking about your granny, my grandmother, my role model. Tell us about your grandmother. What kind of a person was she, and how did she influence you to be the woman that you are today?
My grandmother, yes, my grandmother really plays a big role in my life, because when I would leave now Oshikuku to go to the village, which is a common thing for a lot of us, we would study in the cities. If our teachers maybe our parents are teachers or nurses, then we'll go to the village. But something amazing about my grandmother, she can share a story. And I believe my storytelling skills are from my grandmother. She is a grandmother who would even today, she's alive, we thank God, and I really pray that I'm able to go back home and share with her this story. She is alive today, and she continued to share with me stories, and she never forgets me. I had a friend from Switzerland when I was in primary school, and her name is Anina. And when I go to the village, grandmother would say, so is your Switzerland, or Shilumbu is like a white person, eh? How is your friend? How is your friend Alina? So grandmother never forgets about me. And I do believe I was the closest or maybe very special grandchild. So when I'm at the village, I have the freedom to do anything. When I'm in town, my parents and my uncles and aunties are putting me in order. So that was special. But grandmother was special also because she told me some really, really interesting stories. There's a chapter that I dedicated to my grandmother.
Yes.
Or she was telling me about how she got visiting calls from Heavenly Father, the way she said it. She was also telling me about how there was a colonial time. So I lost an uncle through the colonial time in Namibia. And that story, she told me how the colonizer would pass by her house to look for whether she had served any local people food, you know. So grandmother told me the time, they shared with me stories of when the missionaries got to Namibia, when there was colonialism in Namibia. She shared with me all those stories. But also she shared with me how she raised her own children.
Wow.
And the beauty about being in the village, there's just some sort of freedom and peace that comes with it. And my grandmother is blessed with a very big farm that has about 10 indigenous special trees. And she is just an ordinary grandparent, but there's just something about her that she really taught me. And yes, I would say she's one of my role models, or at least I would want to continue her story, like her skills of storytelling. Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And for you, if you want to know more about Granny, you can find that on chapter 5 of the book. It's really amazing. I read the story. It's really amazing when you come to chapter 5 of the book, where she like lays everything out. So how was Granny? How was it going and everything? So this one here, maybe you want to open the book and just skip straight to Granny's page, and you're going to learn a lot about that. Anyway, now we know that, from the village, we go back to the city, and we know how city life is. It's fast things, everything is so fast. As a young girl, you're now in the city, and, you are trying to grow up, How was life in the city as a young girl as you transition into womanhood?
Right. The city life definitely is harsh because of our backgrounds. We don't have enough. We only have the pocket money that we got from our parents. But one thing that I'm grateful for is the community that raised me. As I said, I had uncles and aunties who were putting me in order. Even when I got to the city, it looked tempting, but I was always going to the study areas. Yeah? Study areas, because I started studying in Namibia, Namibian University, but later on I got a scholarship to come to China. So I was there, but the aim was really to study hard, because the vision was to uproot the poverty from home. And there's something about being a middle child. You need to prove a point, but also there was something about me that always reminded me, like, I need to take up my parents from poverty and all that. Though now we all know that it's easier said than done, because it doesn't even take one person to break generational poverty. So when I got to the city, I was on my books, going to the university, studying, coming back home. But in between that, of having the pocket money, I also engage myself. Like on the weekend, I could do some tutoring, I could wash some clothes for the people living nearby us, because I know where I come from. And it's the whipping that really made me not wanting to be whipped. Like my mom would take out the whipping belt, and she would like, Lineka, Lineka. If she calls my name twice, I know I'm in trouble. So that always stayed with me, even when I went to the city. So my life in the city was never about flashiness or something. The aim was just to say, okay, I'm gonna work so hard and take out the poverty, but yeah, poverty is what it is, right? Yeah.
It's always like that. But anyway, you also spoke, you say, and I'm going to quote from page 125, where we say, during the holiday of that semester, I received a call that I had been awarded a full study scholarship to study in China at University of Southeast. What was the first thing that you thought about? Well, me from Oshikuku, and I got a scholarship to go to China. Tell us about that.
Yeah, when I got the call, I think it was even a holiday. and we just finished 6 months of microbiology because the aim was to become a medical doctor. Because in our communities, we are always told that medical doctor is the thing. If you're not a medical doctor, especially if you're ace and like you're the top student, so medical doctor is the thing. So I was in the journey to become a medical doctor. However, at that holiday, I got the call to go and study in China. Well, the expression was an ordinary, just like any other person. Well, China, we only know China because we have some local shops in our communities selling Chinese products. And it's easy, it's affordable for us. We go there and buy those products. And you know what, for me, honestly, when my mother bought me products from China shop, I would try to change the brand. I was just like, Mommy, why did you have to go in the Chinese shop? But honestly, at the end of the day, we're well dressed because of the Chinese shop. So now I got a call to go to China. And the only stories we hear is, in China people eat snakes. Oh my God. So that's something that everyone is trying to say. But now, that's why I started the YouTube channel, also to demystify this information. Like China is a whole dream. I mean, it's a China dream. I really, really love that. But so I would say I got the call and like, yeah, Mommy, I got a scholarship. I definitely called my mom, say I got a scholarship. And the prayer was also to get a scholarship because I know my background. I know the struggle that my mom went through, paying for high school fees and getting little pocket money. And because also in our community where we grew up, we're mostly nurses and teachers. But my mother worked in a cleaner, institutional worker. So I knew that there was something that we needed to do. We needed to change the status quo. And that came at an early age. That's why even at the age of 6, 7 years old, I went to start selling ice cubes, lollipops, popcorns at church. Because I was telling my mom that, we need to do something. We need to change the status quo. We need to get more pocket money even to help you out with the bread or something like that. Which she didn't agree at the beginning because she always looked at me like, you girl with a lot of dreams and ideas. She was like, no, you're going to bring thieves in my house. So the aim was to get a scholarship. And I applied to so many institutions, but I never got, I don't know for what reason. So then when the Chinese scholarship came through, I was like, thank God I got that because now that means my mother does not have to struggle to pay for school fees. So it was a joyful time. China continued to really change a lot of stories like my story. If it was not for a Chinese government scholarship, there was no opportunity to see the world. And I was really dreaming small. I was dreaming South Africa. Oh, wow. But little Rose really didn't know that she could come to China. Yes, because it's a dream come true. Especially for us who comes from backgrounds that we are not having any dignitary in there. I mean, there's no other way apart from hard work. So it was a beautiful time for my family and even for myself. And I was happy. I said, without a doubt, I'm going to China. And my boyfriend at the time was like, he was so supportive, but we thank God that, sometimes men can tell you like, okay, please, you're not going to continue with education. I mean, I wanted marriage as well. But honestly, yeah, my partner at the time was even encouraged me to go. And that means my support system that I had around was also very supportive to say, go and study. Yes. Yes.
Wow. And I came across a very beautiful quote, and I'm going to share with you. And this quote is found on page 93 of the book. She says, for every choice we make, they continue showing us different results in our lives. What is this quote about? Page 93? Yes. For every choice we make, they continue showing us different results in our lives.
Oh yes, they really do. And I was talking about when I got into a bullying kind of situation. So I went to high school, and that time I was not really, my vision was not really I was not focused on studies. At the beginning of high school, I went into high school and I started hanging out with everyone because you're new at a place and you're trying to fit in. So we found ourselves caught in the fire of bullying a certain girl who was really angry and ended up wanting to take her own life. So my decision was I was part of the group that shared the story because I'm an author, but I'm also imperfect, and I'm also a human being, right? So at that time, even, I decided let me help the to share this story. So do you know, oh, Francina did this, oh, this one. I was part of that group. And then we were called to a school principal's office, and then we got whipping and also well-disciplined. And that decision taught me that I will not try to hang out with anyone anymore. And because my sister was also in high school and she was really excelling student, my principal at that time, Mr. Chukuli Kisvalombola, told me that start studying like your sister. And the decision of me going to gossip about everyone didn't take me anywhere, it just took me to the principal's office. So therefore, I decided, let me make a different choice. That's why I distance from the girls, the gossip crew, because I was part of it, but now I don't want to be a gossip girl anymore, and then I just stick my head into the books. And so our choices in life definitely take us in different places. They can take you in the boardroom. They can take you to China. They can take you just in a different environment that is maybe good or bad. Yeah, it's because of our choices. Yeah.
That is very beautiful. A Black Girl's Tale of Hope. This is what we're talking about. A book by the lovely Namibian queen here. You can see she's just so amazing, okay? Now, carry on your hope, and it will take you through the darkest moments. This is at the last page of our book. As we conclude, tell us, what can we expect from a Black Girl's Hope? You know, okay, sorry, let me just read it correctly. Let me know to rephrase your book, otherwise I'll be selling my own mind, okay? A Black Girl's Tale of Hope. Tell us, what can we expect in the book?
The book.
Sorry to cut you. Those of you who are here, we have copies that are here, and I'm sure the MC is going to explain to you. This is the book that we're talking about, and everyone, you know, we really have access to it, okay? So you have to grab it for yourself, but now please tell us, what can we expect in the whole, you know, overall?
You know, as I'm looking at Ziki, I'm like, this could not happen otherwise, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy that I'm doing this with you today.
Thank you, thank you.
I was just smiling and I promise you. Okay, thank you. Right, what to expect from the story? It's a story that is trying to make you feel that, it's not trying to make you feel, when you read the book, you will understand that you, in your own way, you are powerful. Wherever you came from, it doesn't matter whether you come from the small hut in a village in somewhere in Tanzania, Kenya, Cameroon, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter. You came from the poverty that we hear about in Zimbabwe, it doesn't matter. What matters is the decisions that you make right now. And also the book is trying to tap into the power that we should identify with our identity. It doesn't matter where we come from. Our stories are still powerful. It still makes us who we are. It still makes us special. Because we oftentimes want to run away from ourselves. Maybe it's poverty that we only know, or maybe it's only your story maybe has not really had big traumas, or maybe it's you didn't suffer so much. You know, sometimes it takes a suffering for you to achieve big dreams. My story is, I would say, it's a normal African lifestyle or background. It's not a story that I feel the story is not bigger than our own story. Each one of us, we seated in this room, have our own stories. And the book is trying to remind you that respect your own story. Respect your own identity, wherever you come from, that is your roots. And also accept yourself. Because there are some days when I was told that I have a very loud voice. I am too fast, I am too loud, and really, up to now, I still have to calm myself down and tell myself that, Rose, you're just enough, right? So, my story is not special. Everyone's story is special. Because we are unique just the way we are. Whether we are from Africa, whether you are from Asia, whether you are from America, that's you. And oftentimes, in the world, there are a lot of characteristics that try to put people down. For example, an institutional worker like my mother, who worked in the hospital cleaning, people want to try to say, oh, you're just a cleaner and you are nothing. It should not be about what we have, but respecting human existence and just, so the story is really going to remind you that it's a simple Namibian story. I mean, it's an African story, but it will make you take you back from where you grew up from. Because in a lot of ways, I feel as Africans, we have a common story. We go to the village, we come back, we visit our grandparents, we go back to the city. We have a common story. We come to China, we work hard, we go back to our villages, and something about the village, it will always remain the village. It will always have the sand. You know, we can see the skyscrapers in Beijing, darlings, but we are going back to the village. And it's something special. We should be proud of that. Yes. I hope the readers will be able to tap in that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You can stand up, my sister. And one thing that I want to acknowledge you guys, I just want to show you guys is this. She has a beautiful smile. And I think it's so powerful that if you can just give everybody your smile, the one that is here, this is what you want to see. This is the smile that you want to see. This one,
Try it.
just try it, okay? I think it's a beautiful, it's a powerful smile that tells a story. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate that you had to give me this opportunity to talk to you. You know, I'm really, really honored, and thank you so much, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to present to you, to my sister, the new author of the book. I need to put it like this. I'm in the habit of changing titles all the time, you know. A Black Girl's Tale of Power. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I cannot call you that smile. I am powerful.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful. Another round of applause to the wonderful author and our moderator.